with Kevin and a 1995 prep school campus in Massachusetts. So Kevin is at Columbia University after the assassination of Dr. King, and he and his fellow students are upset about many societal issues, including Columbia encroaching on Harlem. But this scene that I'm going to read is a flashback of Kevin's. He's remembering his trip to the March on Washington in 1963. So in this scene, he's about 14 years old, and he's experiencing the March on Washington. We passed the White House and finally arrived at the National Mall. There were buses from all over the country. Some had hand-painted signs representing churches, schools, youth groups, towns, or sponsor organizations. A hostess, another white woman with tidy dark brown hair, climbed into our bus, gripping a clipboard. She welcomed us and congratulated us for arriving. She spoke with our bus captain, who then turned to us and announced that we would meet back here at 7 o'clock sharp to depart. We stretched our bodies and filed off the bus. There were people everywhere, as far as the eye could see. Youth groups and choirs sang and danced. A group of young men in maroon jackets was stepping, clapping, and singing, while a ring of people watched. This may be the last time you march for freedom. This may be the last time, but I don't know. To the side, a group of young men shared cigarettes and compared their bus rides from California, Florida, and Boston. One man motioned with his cigarette as he talked. The agitation in his voice caught my attention. I got off the bus in Maryland to buy cigarettes, he said. They wouldn't serve me. When I got back on the bus, my bus captain gave me hell for having gone in the store. You believe that? We have to be organized. He imitated a high-pitched voice. This isn't about making a statement. If you're going to act on your own, you should take off your button, because you're not representing the march when you do that. He sucked his teeth. I had half a mind to get off the bus and go home. White lady had some nerve, making a statement. Expecting to be served like a human being is making a statement? He took a deep drag of his cigarette and blew the smoke out with a grimace. His new friends shook their heads and made sounds of disapproval. Mom and Dad flanked us and steered us onto the grass around the Washington Monument, where volunteers handed out signs, flags, and programs with mats on the back. Dad chose a sign that said, "We demand equal rights now." People lined up and began to march. Row after row joined in singing, "We shall overcome," until the harmonies surrounded us. Dawn linked arms with me and Mom and sang her little heart out. The late August sun shone down steady. We waited below the stairs of the Lincoln Memorial while the speakers caught up with the crowd and ascended to their places near the podium. People exclaimed when they saw Diane Carroll, Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, and other stars. They were every bit as classy in real life as they were in the movies. Dawn stood on tiptoe, grabbing my arm. "It's really them," she squealed. All went still. Marian Anderson filled the air with her operatic voice, and the speakers began. Everyone remembers Dr. King's speech from that day, and that's the one they quote. But I remember a young man who spoke, John Lewis from SNCC. I had read about him in the papers, but I hadn't realized how young he was. Suddenly, SNCC was something I could soon join. I listened hungrily to his words. He invokes the hundreds and thousands of brothers who could not be there with us. People who were paid so little they could hardly afford to eat. Students who were jailed. He criticized the Civil Rights Bill. He criticized the Dixiecrats and the federal government, the party of Kennedy, for doing nothing to protect the people working for change. Unsatisfied with their inaction, he asked for a political party that would make it unnecessary to march on Washington. We were tired, he said, and he named what had worn us out. Being beaten by policemen, seeing our people locked up, being told to be patient. We want our freedom, he said, and we want it now. He told us to get involved in the Great Revolution, to get out and stay in the streets until true freedom came, until the revolution of 1776 was complete. I would remember his words more than any of the others. His was a demand, not a plea. He threw down a challenge to us all.